I'm stepping out this evening. I and our lady crew. It's how we do. I wanna turn up this evening. I don't know, it's something about my mood. Out into the shower till I'm soaking, so
Hello, hello, hello to my queens tonight. You know who this is. This is your sister queen, Sinn-of-Men, and welcome to the 1, 2, 3, 4 shades of summer. I'm going to exhale on this one. Interesting topic tonight. Had a really, really good discussion with my mama, my sister queen, Miss Sunshine, as she's so called on lovely Facebook. We talked today about being in or giving someone your presence and not the present. But I want to delve a little bit deeper into a very interesting concept or complex, so that I found, called the Madonna whore complex. Sigmund Freud came up with this very, very colorful psychoanalysis a while ago. Now, it was like, okay, what is the Madonna whore complex? It's the comparison of men who are attracted to other women who are debased or seen as sexual creatures, or the saintly type of woman. Yes. But before I get started, I almost forgot the man, as they always say, with the brand, behind the plan, who sometimes, that's the way I introduce him, tells the truth.
Another blessing, young lady. Another blessing. You're looking really good.
Oh, thank you so much. You know.
I'm actually talking about my phone.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, baby.
You're all right, though.
Either way,
right,
I'll take it.
Good.
Either way.
Wow, this is really wow.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we got to talk about this. The Madonna whore complex.
Now, you're going to have to, because I'm not as spiritual as you, so I'm really going to need you to...
You want me to explain it?
break it down for me.
You know, I'm going to go to the definition.
I want to let everyone know, if you're watching us on
Yes.
the new channel right now, which is True Vibe TV. I'm in the chat. Chat with me, talk, and we can, converse. But please break it down to me so I can feel enlightened.
Yes. So it states here, in psychoanalytic literature, a Madonna whore complex is the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed, loving relationship. First identified, of course, like I said, by Sigmund Freud, under the rubric of psychic impotence. This psychological complex is said to develop in men who see women as either saintly Madonnas or debased prostitutes. Men with this complex desire a sexual partner who has been degraded, the whore, while they cannot desire the respected partner, the Madonna. Freud wrote, and I quote, "Where such men love, they have no desire, and where they desire, they cannot love." Interesting.
No, it is very interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like some really, to be honest with you, one of those serial type killers, because they don't have seriously.
What do you mean serial killers?
Well, I mean, people who have complex like those, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, maybe not serial killer, but let's to a certain extent use whistling for example, Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Because this is a gentleman who was pretty much raised in a brothel.
True, okay, yeah.
So the way he saw women was a lot different than I would say a lot others. Yes, he probably
I can agree with that.
experienced, things a child at his age shouldn't experience or see, especially when his mother's involved in certain things like that.
That's true. So we have one on the hand that men And that's a good quote, though. I'm gonna read that quote one more time because he said, "Where such men love, they have no desire, and where they desire, they cannot love." That's really interesting because, taken from my own experience, here we go again, throwing my little thing in there. I actually asked the man, one day. I said, do you love me? Do you love me? And he said, "Oh, I have love for you." I said, "But you lust me, don't you?" And he said, he said, "Sin." He said, "Yeah, I do. I lust you." I said, "So what do you think?" I said, "Is it better to love or to lust?" And he said, "Well, for me, I think it's better to lust a woman than to love her." I said, "Really?
Interesting.
Interesting." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because, you can have, your woman or your wife, and you be like, you love her, you honor her, he was like, you'll kill for her." He was like, "But that woman that you lust after," he was like, "you'll leave it all for her." And I said,
So is
I don't
that
know.
is that similar to what I always say, like the difference between pretty and sexy? I look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I guess, yeah, in that aspect.
Then and from that perspective, I totally agree. Because once you get a pretty girl, I think it's just real a lot much of the chase,
Yeah, yeah.
and you got it. Once you get it, okay, she's not as pretty as she used to be, but sexy, like sexy can't walk by me without getting touched or come here, let me talk to you for a
Hey,
few minutes or
yeah.
whatever. So from that analogy, I would say I agree. The way he put it, I don't know, but I like mine's a little better.
Right.
But
Pretty sexy.
well, I mean, it's
Pretty
just
freaking
more
sexy.
lines because like you want that. I guess you would say, especially from a man's perspective, that animalistic crave or get over here type thing. I guess every woman would want her man to have that. So, because if your man has that for you, he's not having that for anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, in this aspect, I mean, in today's society, which they were making a comparison between Kesha, they were saying, and then Taylor Swift, for instance. Kesha is this outgoing, this sexual, beast, and everyone looks upon her like, oh my gosh, she's a whore, she's a this. But then you have good old, Taylor Swift, who has had multiple boyfriends, as we all have seen, but because she has this innocence about her, and she's like, you wear short shorts, I wear t-shirts, and she's like, oh, she's cutesy, she's so cute, and she's still so innocent. Why does it have to be like a split between the two? Why does
Well,
it have to be one has to be better than the other? Why can't they both be just as good? Why do I have to be like, for instance, I throw myself in the ring. Men say to me all the time, well, Sen, you exude sexuality, exude sexuality. So my whole life, because I dressed a certain way, because I always used to love it, letting it all hang out, people. I mean, I had the boobs out, I had the booty out. Everyone that knows me knew. But what I can say is I always had respect. And men always respected me because they knew once they approached me and I opened my mouth, it was a whole different thing. So it was all about not what I wore, but how I wore it. That was
right.
the difference. But for the longest time, people just knew that I was the, promiscuous, knew that I was just a slut. And it was like, no, it was the girls that had on all the clothes in my school that were the ones that were promiscuous, or what they would call a whore. For me, it's just self-expression now. That's the way I look at it. But why do we have to have this, this imbalance? Why can't it be, one versus the other? Why can't it just be, we're equal? That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately, society sees women as property or things to lust after. And I always say the biggest example is this. You walk up and you see two guys kissing, a lot of people will be disgusted and horrified. You walk up and you see two women kissing, everyone's breaking out the phone, sexy, people pointing, or whatever situation may be. So women are allowed to do the extra, I guess, when it comes to the physicality of things. Where as far as no one, wants to see men do it, it's like, okay, a man cheats, he's cool. A woman does it, she's bad. She's unsports lady. Like you said, the difference between those two young ladies, okay, Taylor Swift's about 24, 25 now. This young lady's like 19. She's young. She's doing what most 19-year-olds do. let's experiment, have fun.
But listen, like I said, Taylor Swift been dating. We've seen all of her boys when she's wrote songs about him. I mean, we know how she
I
does.
think that's a revolving door right
So
there.
that's what I'm saying. But people still look upon her.
But Taylor
as this.
is that complexion, though. You got to remember that, too. And this other young lady, she's not.
Well, I mean that's true, but I mean in any across any cultures, when you look at it, it's always the woman that holds strong to her sensuality and sexuality that is looked upon as this whore. But yet still, if I'm dressing from head to toe, with fully clothed, and I'm still promiscuous, it's like, oh, no one's talking about that because she doesn't look it and she doesn't put it out there like that. But
I mean,
it's a double standard. It makes no sense. And you will have what is not sexy about, and even let's even think about it in like, well, I don't want to say marriages or just relationships in general. You will have the man who will look upon, his girlfriend and be like, oh, okay, I like her. She's wholesome, she's good. But then yet still all along, he over there lusting and thirsting for the woman who is outwardly with her sexuality, her sensuality.
I think that's where you have a lot of people who have a lot of mixed feelings. But I always say, a lot of rappers and other people say, you want a woman in the street and something else in the bedroom.
Right.
So if you had
Lady
that
in the
woman,
street, freak in the bedroom.
right?
That's
So
what they say.
I just think it's just more lines of you. I'm not looking at women like that. I think if you have a specific type of body, there's certain things you can't hide. That's understandable. But no one should be seeing what I'm only supposed to be seeing behind closed doors.
Which is what exactly?
Like if your breast is all out, or if you've been over, you pretty much showing your all grace or whatever. There's issues. Now I'm saying if there are certain women that you just have that figure. I'm not saying there's anything against tight clothing, but I mean like there's some women that are pretty much walking naked, no bra, with see-through shirts on.
Well, I mean that's the extreme. I mean,
But that's what I'm saying. Like there's certain things
that
that again. You want, you could be all dressed and nice and suited in the street. I mean, and, while we out and about. But I know when we get home, you about to unleash that beast on me.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I get that. That's true. I can understand. I mean, we're not talking about those that take it to the extreme where everything literally is hanging out and it's all like exposed.
Right.
But I'm just talking about the concept of women that embrace their sexuality and are open about their sexuality, or maybe the partners or that they've had, and they're looked upon downward, and it has to be a comparison. I mean, and they were talking about, even in the article that I was reading, how feminists use this analogy all the time, the Madonna whore complex.
Right.
Because, they believe that, women shouldn't have this sexiness about them, shouldn't carry themselves in that way. They need to be a little more conformed and refined, so to speak. Now, don't get me wrong, because like I said, I used to be one of those women that had it all hanging out. Now I'm actually, I'm covered up, which is, a feat in itself.
Different.
But yeah, it's absolutely different. But I've learned to embrace my inner sexy, and I still, no matter what, exude all this sensuality and sexuality. So it really didn't change.
I think it's you put it this way. I guess it's one of those kind of little bit of reverse things where, because when a guy approaches a woman that's dressed like that, 70 to 85% of the time, those are the women that are those type of women.
What do you mean? That are
Promiscuous
overly exposed?
and overly exposed, promiscuous, and hey, you drop a couple of dollars and it's
well, what about the exotic dancers? What about this concept? Because
isn't that an illusion though?
Right, but what I'm saying is a lot of people misunderstand them and automatically think that, because they're exotic dancers, that they're promiscuous. And a lot of them are highly educated. I'm not talking about the ones that you can,
Well, I'm speaking from experience. I don't care how educated they are. Dollars come out, they right with it.
Well,
but I'm saying here's the thing. It's not as high. I'm saying you fall into that little 20 to 25% of women that may dress, yes, nice and revealing, but you are not that type of woman. So just like a young lady who goes to a club with not $1 in her pocket, comes out the drunkest person in the world, as long as she's dressed nice.
You love that analogy, don't you?
It is
That's
because
your favorite analogy.
Yeah, it is because she's gonna be, because she's nice, she's beautiful. Guys are gonna want to converse, and because they want to converse, they're gonna want to buy her drinks, and she doesn't have to come out her pocket. or she might even be bold and ask a guy for a drink. But again, the odds are in her favors because guys will do it. Now, yes, she may run into one or two guys that won't, but again, the odds are in her favor. So it's reverse. Because the majority of women out there who dress like that, all those type of people, you fall in that category. Okay, well, you're not like that, but you're always going to be looked in that category because the number is so high.
I guess we could say that, but we always talk about this, and we're talking about the little cul-de-sac of people that we know in this little area. Because I mean, we don't. This is a little small population compared to the world, And I mean, if you look at Hispanic women, most of them dress their clothing are tight, heels, and don't get me wrong, my queens. I'm loving y'all because I have no qualms about it whatsoever. But 9 out of 10, everything is tight with the heels, and people will look at them and say, "Oh, that's cultural. That's all right. That's
there's
sexy."
nice, and then there's come the hell on, and a lot of them are come the hell on. No, I'm sorry. Like when you have the biggest tube of Vagisil in your bathroom because you keep wearing all these tight clothing, and you keep having issues. No, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with fitting in tight clothing, but when you start harming your body. But again, those are these individuals who want that attention.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's accepted. That's accepted in their culture. It's like, because that's their culture. But let a melanated being or of African American descent do it, and it's like automatically, she's looked down upon in a certain way.
We're not even allowed to breathe properly.
Well,
so it's just because we are that. We're always going to be put in that category. Black Friday, Black Monday, like everything is, considered. Kind of bad when it's us.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is true. I mean,
that culture, but then again, they don't have the figures that our melanated skin has.
Yeah, this is true. I mean,
like, yes, they can go purchase it, but ours is natural.
Well, Hugh Hartman, writing in 2009, stated that the complex is still highly prevalent in today's patients. In sexual politics, the view of women as either Madonnas or whores limits women's sexual expression, offering two mutually exclusive ways to construct a sexual identity. Very true. Very true. Because it leaves us it's like we either got to be one or the other.
True.
Why can't I be in the middle? Why can't I express myself in both ways? I'm like, I can be this whore and I can be Madonna, because I know I can, because that's a part of my full shades of summer. So and it's interesting, and I'm so upset that I don't have the poem, because I came across a really, really, really good poem by Aquarius Khan, actually, who was in one of the groups of my Facebook. It was called The Virgin and the Whore, and it was the perfect explanation of this inner turmoil that I believe a lot of us women, I don't know all women, so I'm going to say, a lot of us struggle with. Because I know my virgin is my ballerina, shade ballerina, and then the whore is shade sin. The ballerina is the one who can be, out and about, and she's so cutesy, and she's so twirly, and she's all loving and caring and kind, and all of that stuff, and she's just like, oh yeah, this little like inner kid, sweet. And then sin, she's the dominatrix. She's just like, listen, bring them all to me. I'm going to do them all. I'm going to get them all. But it's like the constant pull between the back and forth between them. Like, okay, who's going to win? Who's going to win? It's like, why can't they both win? Why can't I be both? But it seems like for me, men are either attracted to one or the other.
Right.
They respect one side of my personality, but then the other side, they're like, they only can have her when it comes to the bedroom. But when she's out and about, she's in speaking, or when I'm being authoritative and things like this, it's like, oh, no, we don't want her.
No, I mean, I truly understand. I really think a lot of this also goes to I would always say the number system, where men numbers are allowed to be high, but women numbers aren't allowed to be high.
Right.
Like someone put on Facebook, it was funny as I don't know what. This girl was telling, how she, they're having a conversation. He told her how many he had, and it's the normal guy number. And I think she used a number of 4 or 5, and he was heartbroken.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like men, they get to be the businessman, the lover, the loving kind, and they get to be, the slut and the whore, and it's like, yeah, oh, that's just man. But women, it's like we have to be in this, this way, or unless you allow us to express ourselves, allow us to be exposed only when you say. It's just like, for instance, like let's go like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West.
Lord have mercy.
Now she had her little video, and everyone was, oh my God, all and on. But then when Kanye decided to expose her nude pictures when she was in the shower, and he actually posted them, it was like, oh, well, that's her husband, and he's allowed to express her whichever way he sees fit, and as long as he's okay with it. But when she was in the paper magazine, when she had the, what was it, all greased up or whatever, it was a photo of her or something like that.
Yeah, she. But here's the thing, people. That,
People all
that
up
was
in arms.
photoshopped as I don't know what,
Right.
but
But it was okay because he allowed her to do it. It's like, well, who needs permission from anyone? I don't need permission from anyone to express myself in the way in which I choose to.
Men always think that a woman's place is where he tells her it is. And, unfortunately, you have a lot of men out here that are not prepared and that can't handle an actual strong female.
True indeed.
It sounds, because everyone says, yes, I could do it. There's not a problem. It's not an issue. Or, you know what, I want a real dominant female, and then you get it, you like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like you actually get a window of what guys be like, yo, come here, come here.
Right, exactly.
Every 5 seconds, you're like, I'm not a piece of meat.
For sure, yeah.
Like, I'm not a piece of meat.
Right. Oh, Lord, don't make a man a piece of meat.
Yeah.
Don't treat him how, that 9 out of 10, they're treating women and, lining them up. But it's like, oh, how dare you? You got to look at me, in this way. And I'm like, oh, it was good for you, but it wasn't good for me. Men can't handle when women are, like I said, authoritative. Because I get this all the time from men, and it's like, well, you don't talk to me a certain type of way, and you are disrespectful. I'm like, I didn't raise my voice at you. I did not curse. Just because I speak with authority and you feel my energy, because I'm commanding your respect or demanding it.
Well, those are I would say, the fake phony ones. Who say, I want a strong woman, I want a strong queen. But what you're saying is, I just want a woman to be in her place and speak when I want you to speak and be quiet when I want you to be quiet.
I want you to be strong to everybody else and be authoritative to everybody else. But when it comes to me, no, I want you to be kitten-like. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I can be a kitten.
I mean, no one really wants that, though. Because like guys say that all the time, because I remember I experienced it. I want a woman who's going to be so submissive and do what I say and do what I want. And, I'm still young at this time. And I'm like, after a while, I was like, yo, get a freaking backbone. Like,
right. And that's what I've experienced. Like, when I'm full-fledged, like, ballerina and I'm twirling and all of that, and I'm like, okay. And I'm compromising and everything's all good. I'm like, yes, good. You know what I hear? Here come the Mac truck. Run over me all day. Run over, back it up, run over, back it up. And it's like you being too nice. It's like you gotta have a little fight. What? It's like make up your mind.
Yeah,
what do you want? Which one you want? Which one do you want? Because you're gonna have to have a balance. I need to be balanced. I need to be able to speak with authority when I'm at my absolutes. And I need to be able to be sweet and compromise. But it takes a certain type of man or masculine energy in order to be able to balance that and truly handle that. Unfortunately, as men, we're taught specific things. And not saying it's right, but, unfortunately, these are things that continues to be passed down or things that you see your friends or relatives do to the women that they are affiliated and associated with. You want that whole control thing, and I say that there shouldn't be any control. It's a compromise. Absolutely.
There are some times where I might feel, you're right on that one. That's yours. Or, well, this one, I don't think you're seeing it from this particular point of view.
Right.
Or, my favorite thing, okay, we can agree to disagree.
Exactly, agree to disagree.
Which means you voiced your opinion, I voiced my opinion. There is no, well, no, you don't see it my way. And I think that's a big issue that we have.
Right.
No, you have to see it the way I see it. I
And
did because
that's
I
right.
listened to you.
Right, I get it.
That don't
It's
mean I
but
agree with
right,
you.
I'm about to say, I still don't agree.
But
And
I
it's like,
understand the way you were coming from. Now, can we move on past that?
right, right.
And I think so many people have issues with moving on past that.
Yeah, because they want to, you got to be right. They want
Submissive.
to-
You have to
right.
continue to be submissive
Yeah.
and see it the way I told you to see it.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just like, got the wrong sister queen for that. I mean, I have to be balanced, and that's what I was missing for a long time. I was like, okay, I have to be this ballerina. I have to be this woman that compromises and just does everything that he says. You know, you go to church, you know, and they tell you, man, you know, a woman must submit to her husband and this and that, and the man is head and the woman the neck and all of this and that.
He said naked. No, it's unfortunately, but I'm laughing about it, but it's
It's like,
absolutely
how about I'm
true.
a whole body and he a whole body? How about that? How about that?
I mean,
we both
even-
bodies and we both gonna do this thing together and work in harmony. Now, don't
Right.
get me wrong. I do believe there are roles. I know a lot of women. They be like, "Up, here you go." Yes, there are roles. That's why I'm female and that's why he is male, or I can't even say female, masculine, feminine. But there's a difference, and there's certain things that we do and certain things that men do. It's all right, but this whole thing of I can't be sexy and Madonna like at the same time is ridiculous to me, and
Well,
it
again,
puts
that's
too much
what-
pressure on
What
them.
people want to, certain men want to see you in that role, the submissive role, period. Pretty much just let me put the collar around you, let me drag you around,
Right. Caveman
around the
style,
world, and then, again, I always tell people, no matter whoever you meet, you have to remember at the end of the day, you've been with yourself those amount of years longer than you've been with the person that you met. And if you go into that arrangement, whether it's long term or short term, right, trying to will your way, you're going to continue to run into that wall.
True.
Because again, no matter how long or short this encounter is, it has to be compromising. What do you like? What don't you like? I want this to be as satisfying, as pleasure as possible. Like, you wouldn't take someone who's a vegan to a Memphis barbecue
Or I'm
spot.
about to say,
You know what I'm saying?
Texas Steakhouse.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and you pigging out and they snacking on bread and water, so,
Right.
it has to be, okay, well, this is where I would say the conversation. Again, I don't care how short or long the togetherness is, but if you still have that communication, it'll be that more exciting. And let's say this individual, like you said, you will be more willing to release the beast when you actually get back, because this is the person who went out of their way to make sure that, you were comfortable and that you were satisfied. So in return, what do you think you're going to get back when that time actually does happen? You're going to get that little extra.
And respect seems to lean on the idea of sexual or not sexual. Like I'll respect you if you seem wholesome and good, even though we can know that you've slept with whomever hundreds, but as long as you look it, I can respect you. But the moment that you look as if you may have been promiscuous, then I can't respect you from the door. That to me is just ridiculous, because that you don't know the person. You already judging them by their exterior. It's like, no, you have to get. It's just like when you see what's those people that like dress like maybe goth or like punk, and automatically people scared. They're like, oh my god, they look scared, and they are like the biggest teddy bears in the
they
world.
are.
They are
They
like
truly
the
are.
sweetest,
Truly are.
kindest people. It's just like, no, they just expressing themselves. That's just an expression of maybe how they're feeling inside that day. It's like, no, I just, I want to be outside the box so much, because that's how I was. Like, no, I want to be totally outside the box. But it's like, stop judging people on how they look on the outside. And I'm not saying that I haven't done it, of course, my whole entire life. Of course, I've been guilty of it. But I am learning every day to not do that. Talk to the person. Get to know them before you start judging their exterior, putting them in this, idea of Madonna or the whore. It's like, at the end of the day, who really cares? Who really cares? As long as you're not hurting anybody. But I want to say here also, it says that Freud also theorized that this inability to mix sex and love caused anxiety in many men. because many men felt this like, oh my gosh, if I love her, I can't do nasty things. Like I can't do nasty things to her. I only can do nasty things to the whore. Because that's what I mean. Because if you look at a lot of
I think that's a great great way to really break that down.
That was true.
phenomenal.
It's a lot of
It
men.
truly
That's
was.
why a lot of men cheat. So what I was reading that they was like, well, the things that I did with the mistress, I couldn't do with my wife. It's like, did you ask your wife, or did you automatically put that on her? Or a lot of times women feel this. I was like, well, I'm the wife. I can't do these things because I'm looked at as this holiness, this other holy half or whatever. It's like, guess who created sex, people?
Yeah. I mean, you also look at it from this standpoint. Well, I mean, you look from a female's perspective. They always want to date the bad guy. They don't want to take him home.
Right.
So you have guys who want to take home bring home the wholesome women to the mother, and the other, Madonna, they want to, but you could get both though.
Exactly.
I it kills me how people think it has to be separate.
Yeah.
You can find a girl, I don't care if she has one crossed-eyed or one twitching eye, but if to you that's sexy and she knows how to conduct herself in public, well-mannered, well-spoken, and then when you get home, for those who may not saw the show on Showtime, Billions.
Yeah, okay.
Between the, attorney general and his wife, who's, a big-time psychiatrist, but behind closed doors, Lord have mercy, they interacted and had, but she, and that's just like, you can't wait to get home to get a hold of that.
Yeah.
So you can have both, but unfortunately, we've always been taught that it has to be separate. There's no way you can have both. It's either one or the other.
Right, and it's like, no. This is the one time when you can actually blur those lines. This is the one time where blurred lines work, people. This is one time where blurred lines work. So, I mean, it's I think we really, it's so much pressure, on
Absolutely.
women. It's so much pressure on women, and I was just sitting here.
So you think it's more pressure on women than men?
I think in a sense of sexuality and sensuality and that whole aspect, yeah. Definitely, because men they don't have these restrictions and labels and all these things. Women, it's like we gotta watch what we say, we gotta watch what we wear, and watch how we carry ourselves. I mean, it's just so much. Oh, do we have short hair? Do we have long hair? Do we have big booties? Do we got small? But men, y'all ain't going through none of this. Y'all can have one-legged kickstand, bullet holes all in the face.
Well, that's. That's a woman for you, and we always have the discussion. A woman will walk down the street holding her hands with the most unattractive person to ever walk this God green earth. But there are serious women to do that and be the happiest individuals in the world. Men can't do that. Unfortunately, men are so visual that this is the only way they look and the only way they see it. Men, yes, when you see a young lady, the first thing you're looking at is features. Maybe from a woman's perspective, okay, can this person take care of me? So from men do have pressure, and the pressure is the finance.
Yes.
I always say at the end of the day, as far as the bedroom's concerned, as long as you and that individual can come to an understanding in the conversation, no matter what you pack, and you'll be able to satisfy that woman. All right. Yeah. But when it comes to the actual finance, that's where I think it really is, because when a guy meets a woman, the first thing he wants to do is he wants to take her out. He wants to show her a good time, because that's what we're taught. Okay, well, he may not have the finances to do that, so now he has the.
So what's the con? I was going to say, okay, so let's break it down to a complex. So what's the male split of the Madonna whore? So what would be the male split?
It would definitely be the finances, So
what, broke versus?
Well, I mean,
financially stable versus the unfun.
Absolutely,
and unstable.
I actually think it goes so bad that as men, we put ourselves in so many uncompromising situations. I've seen a dude, I ain't gonna put his name out there, pretty much starve for 2 weeks waiting for another paycheck to put on a nice little show for this young lady for one night. So we go beyond our financial comfort levels to please.
So I think for y'all, it would be it would be more like the good guy versus the thug or the bad guy, because mostly the good guy, like is majority of men, because I've been looking at that too, are saying that, well, because I'm not as handsome, or I'm a janitor, or I'm a bus driver. Women don't
Janitors
want
make
that.
some good money.
Yes, they do.
I don't know which.
I'll take me a plumber. Any plumbers out there?
Them
I'll
dudes
take me
make
a
at
plumber in a minute.
least 80 to 85 grand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
So
will mop. Yes, yes.
listen. I don't care what it is that you're doing. I'm like, as long as you can make a living and sustain a home for.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think from a guy's perspective, we put on this big front, as if a lot of times we lead with the money.
Yeah.
And because we lead with the money, when the money runs out, maybe that person who was just there for that, things aren't I guess as kiki as they were before. I think Ruben Studdard did a video. I loved it. He made it seem and act like they lost the house. And the movers were coming in, and obviously they're moving the furniture and everything to the new house.
Right.
But he's making it look like everything's being repoed. And he moved back in with his mother, and this young, beautiful woman was sleeping on the couch, happy as go lucky. And that's when he was like, look what we got.
Right. Yeah, listen. I've slept in a windowsill. I mean, not at another man's house, but I'm just saying. I slept in a windowsill in Atlantic City. I've slept on the hardwood floor, was sleeping on a teddy bear, okay, and nothing else. I'm good with all that. I will get in where I fit in, to a certain extent, but I'm just like, don't invite me over though, and you didn't have a bed. That's the whole difference.
Shots. But the thing about, well, that's the thing, I think when we talk about conversation, okay, this is my situation. All right, I'm not saying that I do not. I would like to get to know you. I would really like to take the time and converse and do that, but this is my current situation. This may or may not be comfortable for you.
Right.
And if it's not, I understand. Maybe we weren't meant to deal at this time, but when I can properly get on my feet, I will give you a call, and if you are still open to the possibility, we can go from there.
Right, my thing is this. I'm like, come on over to my place. I have a bed, but it's just like, don't invite me somewhere you already know what's going on, and that's not it. But even though, this person now has a beautiful palace now, so, shout out to for that. But, so we got Madonna, whore, and we got the good guy versus the bad boy.
Right.
Basically. Okay, so that's the two comparisons. Now, for me, though, I don't know. I guess I can only speak from the woman's perspective. I'm going to say, I don't really think that that's so terrible for men.
Well, it's our
split.
it's our anxiety.
Right, I'm about to say it's your.
It's our just like young ladies is like, okay, well, I would like to put on this because it makes me feel good about myself. I'm not out here to try to court anybody or try to be with anybody. I just want to feel good about myself. And okay, yes, I am full figured, so I can't hide that. So why should I not be able to wear certain clothes?
Right. True.
But again, you still fall in that category.
Right.
And I remember in Virginia when I was there, Jeremy, he was pretty decent looking. He approached this woman so politely, and I was like, wow, I was really shocked coming from that type of guy. And the first words out of my mouth was, what kind of car you drive? Okay, serious. Okay, just to tell you, yes, she had a nice car, but his was a lot nicer. But just because she approached from that, right, she was dressed nice, sexy, real nice looking, and he didn't approach her, yo, mom, come here. No, excuse me. Real polite and well-mannered and well-spoken, but the first words came out of her mouth again was finance. And guess what? That man had finances.
Right.
And I always say the greatest, another story of that is a friend of mine who constantly, over and over again, looked for a woman that could take care of him. We're in a club. Very beautiful young lady. She just happened to have a scar on her face because a chandelier fell. Oh, nah, I don't want to. Oh, this and that. And this young lady all night was trying to, and then she wound up talking to somebody else that I introduced her to. Come to find out, this young lady was about to get 7 figures. So that's
But
what
wait
I'm
a
saying.
minute now. You said that women that are was she still attractive even though she had the scar?
That chick was still bad.
Oh, okay.
He just was, because he just that vain of a person.
Right. Yeah.
The fact that she had a scar because it did fall on her,
Yeah.
but body was nice. You know what I mean? And it just was like, he's like, no, but this is what I'm saying. This was exactly what you were looking for, which was a female that can take care of you. And she wound up talking to someone else that we knew. And then that's when everything came out about her having this big finance that was coming in within the next couple of months. So, you know, he felt like a dunce. But again, if you go into something with the wrong way about going about it, or I always say karma is the greatest thing in the world. Because it'll come back to you 10 times fold. This is exactly what you wanted. Someone very beautiful, but someone that would take care of you financially.
Yeah, you know, sometimes our king or queen does not come in the package we expect it to come in. And we will miss out on the one messing around with all of these.
So you're saying it wouldn't come in the package? I think it came in the right package.
No, what I'm saying is but no, for him, because he had a scar, it wasn't the right package. Is what I'm
Okay, I see
saying.
what you're saying like that.
So sometimes we have these standards that's like, oh, these are my, absolutes. And some of them are a little bit ridiculous. Sometimes you gotta.
But like you live at home with your moms. How much standard, what I mean?
But that's the thing, though. It's like we expect to have these things that we don't necessarily have ourselves. And in certain instances, it's like, yeah, okay, so you don't have no place to live, and I have a place to live. We not compatible. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's just going a little bit too far from me. You know what I mean? There's certain things that you have to have established. Like I said, I don't care where you work, as long as you're working towards something. I'm like, we can't. I mean, I like.
You ain't been working at the fast food restaurant, not moving up the chain for 10 years, and you comfortable at the register.
Right. The song says, "I can do bad by myself. I don't need no help to starve to death." You know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think once you, like you said, you have what I am willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept.
Right.
But then again, I always say, the sad thing about it is, again, with that other situation that you were talking about, saying you have something that you didn't have, well, not informing me that you didn't have. So it's like, I look at that situation like time wasted. It's time wasted because at that point in time, you could have, we could have, or I'm already looking at you a specific type of way. Even though I may still converse with you, things may still progress after that, I still have that envisioned in the back of my mind. I'm going to look at you as that particular type of person.
Right. I mean, I guess I can see that. I can see that, but I didn't though, because as time went on, we wound up getting back, in touch with each other, and it wound up being fantabulous, for a time.
Right.
And then after that, I mean, but it didn't really change the way that I saw him at all, because he was still a beautiful being at the end of the day. It was just that we had a little hiccup and a miscommunication. We had a failure to communicate.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Whether you say it or not, it's still a lie. Hey, this is the thing that killed, like, you can't.
Well, don't even go there, because that's the topic for another day. That people feel like because you didn't ask them, it wasn't a lie.
No.
You didn't ask me, so not telling you, but you already knew that was a deal breaker for me. But because I didn't ask you, it's not a lie.
Well, that's why, like, you always give me flack when I always tell you, like, I think I should be able to ask a person anything out the gate. As soon as I meet this individual, I should be able to ask this person any and everything. And, y'all always say, well, some things should be kept for later. No, I don't want to be blown. I should be, if there's no.
Don't surprise me.
Yeah,
Tell me
so
up
if
front.
there's nothing to hide, you have no secrets, yes, I should be able to ask you any and everything.
Okay.
And that way, again, I need to know that this situation that we in, that I'm comfortable with. That this is who I am.
Yeah.
Are you going to work with it or not work with it? This is your choice, but I'm giving it to you.
Right.
So not 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years down the line, you start realizing, whoa, hold on, you didn't tell me this.
Yeah.
But then now you're caught in a bad spot because it's like, okay, well, I already been with this person for 2 years and 2 months. Do I? And then like that person's not gonna give their 100% anymore because they already have that.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true. But
So
look,
even though like it went from sleeping on floor and windowsills, and now you have
I wasn't sleeping at the windowsill at the person's house.
right,
This was
but
strictly in
now
Atlantic
that you
City,
have
people.
all these other things at the back of your mind, you
Right.
still like. So I understand you saying you moved past, but you really didn't.
No, that's not true.
It's still there.
No, well, that because it was shocking to my sister.
Exactly.
And
So
I'm trying to forewarn the brothers, the king.
But that's what I'm saying.
Don't
It's
do that.
still
Don't do
there. And that's why I say, and that's why I say, like, again, if this person would have waited and said, hey, look, this is the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have said, because you'd have been comfortable with it, okay, well, I have my own.
Right.
Come through.
Come
So
through.
then, all right, you wouldn't have started off with that negativity. Okay, we wouldn't have had that however many days, weeks, months lapse in between conversations, and I would
True.
not have met this other individual or whatever situation. So
True.
again, what could have been prevented wasn't because you walked into it with a lie.
Yeah. I can get with that. But I'm like, I think we done went so far past the topic. We supposed to be dealing with Madonna and the whole
Well,
complex.
we did because
And
it's
Bad
still
Boy
a
versus-
complex as far
Yeah.
as telling the truth, not telling the truth.
Is that a complex? Lying is a complex.
No, it
man.
is, yo.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how well a person can lie.
Oh, no. You ain't got to tell me because I would live with one for umpteen years.
Leave my dude alone.
Okay?
Leave my dude alone.
Boy, I tell you, they rolled off his tongue so good. I mean, he convinced himself. You know
That's what I'm saying.
You convince yourself you telling the truth and you
Right.
know you lying, something wrong. So
But that's what I'm
a scary
saying.
place, people.
No, it is. But you have so many, again, so that you said, so comfortable with it.
Yeah, so comfortable. Okay, so let's reel it back. Madonna and the horror complex.
Right.
No good or good? No good.
You say no good?
Oh, absolutely. No good. Blur them lines, ladies. Blur those lines.
Here's the
It's
thing.
good to be both. We need both.
I agree with you on that one. My thing is this, and this is the greatest thing I can ever say. Who cares what anybody else think about you but you?
True.
Unfortunately, we care way too much about how other people view us, how other people see us, and it really messes with a lot of things. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you are comfortable being promiscuous, then that's you. As long as I only have an issue.
Including yourself, though.
Exactly. I only have an issue with it when you lie about it or you come at it sideways. If you are open and honest with it, then that's who you want to be at that time. No one can say anything.
And trust me, I'm not out here advocating anyone to just
I am.
be loosey-goosey with yourself. No, because, I mean, when we're talking from a spiritual sense, we're talking about energy being transferred into your body. And we all know, and if you don't know, sexual energy is the hardest energy to get out of your system. It takes a very long, long time. So you'll be carrying around Joe, Schmo, Hodo, Mo with you for years. Okay, if you don't do some spiritual things to cleanse yourself. So, I mean, I'm saying, we're saying it's okay to be promiscuous. I mean, choose, you can see, I mean, at the end of the day, it is your choice to do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, keep that in mind, ladies. If that person you're dealing with, is a little unstable, he may feel like got little demons in him, them demons is coming right on up in you.
So with my
be
numbers,
mindful.
what would that say for a woman?
Huh?
With my numbers, what would that say for a woman?
Please. we know who homegirl is crazy as hell. Got too many goddamn demon spirits all up going.
Now, again, like I said, honesty. Just make sure if you're open and honest with your sexuality, and this is what I say. Okay, if you're wearing something, you can't be mad when someone approaches you on a specific level. It comes with the territory. Yes, you can wear what you want to wear. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I despise this young lady. She did it on Facebook and other things, where she set up a camera and purposely walked through certain areas with overly tight clothing and saying, oh, look, I'm getting harassed. You're asking for it.
No, let's pause. I don't agree with that. Because in other cultures, you walk around stark naked.
Well, no,
and
what I'm
they
saying,
not
all right,
drooling,
but you
they're
staged
not
this up.
hollering.
She staged it.
Yeah,
Though.
but I'm just saying, but in general, as a woman, if I choose to walk around here and have myself exposed, that's my business. It's because that this is a sexually repressed country that any little hint of skin, you salivating. It's like the thirst is so real.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
No,
When you have over in African cultures, I mean, they naked all day. They got a little, my ideal clothing, a little reef going on, a little band on the waist that said breast is out, because this expresses femininity and the ability to feed the babies and nurture and all of that. It stands for all of that. Wide hips, all of that is celebrated. It's not looked upon as like a dog in heat, like goddamn animal panting, like, you know. It's like, no.
I'm saying truly wear what you want, but what I'm saying is because, like you said, we are in this particular area in the country, and things are so repressed, like you say it is. Then yeah, you have to understand. You wearing that, you're going to get that reaction. So it's not like you were just walking Joe Smo. No, the fact that you put those clothes on purposely and walked through those areas, you got what you deserved.
Well, what about the men in the sweatpants? We can say you harassing us when you wear them sweatpants, men.
Knock yourselves
We
out,
don't
fella.
know how women feel about the sweatpants.
No drawers on, fellas. You know how we do.
I'm just saying.
But
We
I'm
can
saying,
feel
like,
the same type of way.
you it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, you should be able to wear what you want to wear. But again, it's not like, okay, I'm going to walk into one of the worst hoods or worst areas, whether it's black, white, blue, purple, with $100,000 taped to my chest, and don't think. That's what I'm saying, and think I ain't gonna get hit all upside the head.
You know what that reminded me of? One
What?
of my favorite scenes in what's the movie, Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson, when he made him put
Oh yeah, the N-word or whatever.
he made him put that sign.
Yeah, but then I'm saying that's the type of reaction. So you can't get shot, and that's what I'm saying. Yes, wear what you want to wear, but you still have to be understanding. So if you're gonna wear that, okay, then cab or drive or whatever. That way you're not walking 30 blocks. Where you have to keep pulling your skirt down. Okay, if you know you're going to be walking a lot, it's going to continue to raise.
Well, I guarantee you, I could go into what you're saying is the hood right now with this same outfit that I have on right now, and I would.
Well, they can't see the whole outfit, so that's of course. So
But I'm saying, I just have on pants, but they're tight pants. But I can go into that same hood that you're talking about and walk down the street and get just as much harassed with the outfit I have on as a girl would with
well,
a
again,
tight
we said
dress on.
there are women who just have full figures. There are
Yeah, but
women
that's
who
what I'm
have
saying.
certain
Does it
figures,
really
and
matter?
you can't hide it. But what I'm saying is, if you're going there to see someone or you have a purpose to be there, cool. But if you're just going there just to get whatever kind of reactions you're going to get, then yes, it's totally different.
That's just ridiculous.
But that's what I'm
in
saying.
itself,
Like
yes.
that woman purposely put the camera on, put tight clothing on, and walked through the area she knew was with nothing but men. So no, I didn't feel sorry for her. It's
Well,
not.
was she trying to show like that's what happens?
Yeah, she she wanted people to see how it was horrible that women couldn't walk. And no, you can walk, but if you know below this street after dark, I don't think you want to walk there, whether you got clothes on or not, because dudes were hungry.
Yeah, but,
You know what I mean?
But this is what it boils down to, though, Truth. I should be able to go anywhere freely without being harassed, no matter what I have on. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, in this country, you can't run down the street naked. I mean, we shouldn't be out.
Well, you can walk around without a bra.
Yeah, right. You can't walk around with it, and that's pushing it. Because men is still like, I mean, they get like.
No, I'm talking about
X-ray
like
vision.
there was a case in New York City where a woman walked with her breast out, and she was arrested by the police officer, and she wound up getting, I think it was $20,000 to $30,000 because she knew the law that it is not illegal for a woman to walk around with her breast out.
I mean, no shirt or like
No, she
braless.
just braless. It was just
Yeah.
no shirt, bra, chest is out,
Oh, no shirt either.
no shirt, nothing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he arrested her for a decent disposal. And then, yes, she got, I think it was $20,000 to $30,000 she got from the city because technically the law states she can walk around like that. There's no law against it.
What part of the area was that? Because I need to be there like ASAP.
It was around the Grand Concourse.
I'm building my tree house right smack dead in the middle of Grand Concourse, okay?
There you go.
Y'all see me there. You see this woman running naked down the street. It's just me.
I don't know if you want to do that, not the Grand
I know,
Concourse.
yeah.
But yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, but The bottom line is that we have to stop putting so many labels upon just people in general. It's already hard out here. We already have so many pressures of just trying to live through life. Than to have, okay, well, you know what? I have to have long hair. I can't have short hair. I have to have big boobs. I got to have small boobs. I got to have a big booty, no booty. Madonna, the whore, bad boy, good guy. All of these labels, like, we got to stop it. Why can't we just, what they say, just all get along and just be who we want to be? And as long as, we're happy and, we're not hurting anybody, let people be. Blur those lines, ladies. Blur those lines, guys. It's all right to have a little bad boy in you. You ain't got to be straight-laced all the time. And women, you ain't got to have your what's the, I don't even know what it's called, the nuns wear. What is it?
No idea.
I don't know. But, yeah, you ain't got to have that on all the time, too. It's all right to get loosey-goosey when it gets time to the bedroom. Ladies, it's all right. The only person that see you is you. So let it all hang out. Let it go. Let your hair down or cut your hair off. Whatever one works for you. I'm like, any last words there? Truth.
Again, as long as you are not lying, you're not hurting anyone. If you appreciate and like who you are, that's all that matters.
There it is. Now give it to him one more time to spill where we're located at now.
We're still working on that. But as of right now, we are, because we have some things in the works, we are broadcasting live on Twitch TV now. So you'll go to www.twitch.tv /TRUTHVIBE TV. That's Truth Vibe TV.
Yes. And I just want to let everyone know about my up-and-coming adventures. I'm like the art of seduction will be at a studio near you sooner than later. Yes, I'm finally doing my classes that I always wanted to do. So ladies, as my spiel goes, if you want to be more sensual and sexy, you want to have a little more movement, and I'm like, if you want to be the desire of your partner's heart, call your girl Sin or email me actually at sinnofmen.fm@gmail.com and come and let me teach you how to sindulate your man. But once again, it has been real with your girl and my 4 shades. Until next time, peace, love, and light.